Hello, personal productivity enthusiasts and community. Welcome to Anything But Idle, the Productivity News Podcast. I'm Ray Sidney-Smith.
I'm Augusto Pinaud.
And we're your hosts for Anything But Idle. This is episode 19, and we're recording this on August 20th, 2020. Each week, we cover the productivity news headlines of the week, so you know what's going on in the current research, tools, services, products, and more in the world of personal productivity. And so with that, let's get into our headlines. First up, Augusto, I see that Apple is extending Apple Care Plus. Tell us a little bit about that.
Apple early this week, announced that they're changing their Apple Care Plus policies in the United States and Canada up to 1 year to purchase Apple Care after buying a new device. You used to have 60 days to buy the Apple Care. Now they extend that to whole 1 year before you need to buy the Extend Care or the Apple Care Plus. So that's a great news for anybody buying a new Apple device.
Fantastic. Next up, Microsoft announced their Microsoft Surface Duo product, both its price and release date, and we talked about that last week as our featured story. Well, this week they told The Verge that they were going to be giving 3 years of Android updates, which in essence is the same as Google and Samsung is doing with their Android devices, which is 3 years of updates as well. And this is really fantastic. I think this is good parity across the ecosystem so that Android users know that they're going to buy high-end products and continue to get updates. That is not just feature updates. I think that's a good thing, but it's really about the security updates as well that I'm really always quite concerned about. One thing is that the article noted that the article title noted that it was Microsoft's Surface Phone. I would just keep correcting everyone that Microsoft is calling the Surface Duo a part of its Duo product line. It is not calling it a phone. So I just took a little bit of umbrage with the article's flagrant use of phone in the title.
Yeah, I think Microsoft had a challenging time with phones, and I think they're wise not to call it a phone. Let's see if we break the curse.
Now we have some Todoist news. The folks at Doist have launched a couple of new, pretty important features on the platform. You want to tackle that, Augusto, in terms of the first part?
Yeah, one of them is boards, and now you have. Or they have the better access to the board, something similar to what you see on Trello, and they're integrating the boards with the to-dos with a product that I think is really, really interesting to be able to collaborate, to track the task from beginning to end, and make it a really powerful thing. The second thing they did was the filters, and now you will be able to get the today, the overdue, the work, the no date, the no times, 7 days and waiting for created before 350 days or 300 things task that has more than a year old. That's probably out of all the filters my favorite filter that they have, because I think that allows you to look at old stuff. So unlike that, a bunch of other filters. So I think they did a really incredible job into making those filters really, really powerful.
Of those of you who want to join the beta program for Todoist in order to get access to this boards feature, there's a link in the show notes to how to join the beta program on the appropriate platform that you're on. And yeah, this is really, it's in line with Asana and other platforms that have brought a board-based or a Kanban-based interface to their systems. And it's great to see Todoist go ahead and join that esteemed crowd. And so with that, we're going to take a break now and hear a word from our sponsor this week, Zarvana, which you can find at zarvana.com.
As a young analyst at a leading strategy and management consulting firm, I experienced what ambitious professionals experience every week. I had a strong desire to get promoted as quickly as I could, and I wanted to take on exciting side projects. And I wanted to do all of that while spending less time at work so my life outside of work wasn't limited to exhaustion and recovery. My observations of my coworkers told me this wasn't possible, but I knew there had to be a way. I began to research and experiment, and in 2 to 3 months I had reduced the hours I was working by over 15%, while placing myself on the path to a faster than average promotion. My success led to the creation of Zarvana, a tool designed to give you the edge at work and in life. It combines a diagnostic, abbreviated courses, and a habit tracker into a single application to enable you to get the most out of your time in just minutes per week. You can start by taking the Time Finder diagnostic to find out how many of our 150 time-saving behaviors you're currently doing.
And we're back to the show. Now we're going to be doing some Google News. And so what's our next headline, Augusto?
Google Meet is spreading to any TV using Chromecast. So now you will be able to enjoy more meets or more devices. So you will be able to use the TV too to start getting, your Google Meet conference. Right? I mean, out of the chuckle of this, it is good because as people will stay longer working at home, and now we are going to start adding schools and virtual learning from the kids. I think it's great that Google is adding this capability to the Chromecast.
I think this is phenomenal. And for those of you who don't know, Chromecast is as much a software platform as it is a piece of hardware technology. And so many televisions actually come with Chromecast built into it. And if you don't have Chromecast, you can always buy one of the little Chromecast dongles and add them to the television. And I just look forward to using Meet now with family, where I can actually set up the display to be able to see people in a larger environment and not on a tiny screen, and just have a more natural living room experience with people who may not be physically situate with me. And I can think of all kinds of fun experiences where, I have people over the house and we're together, and people who are perhaps in other places, and being able to bring them to the party, so to speak, together all in one space. I'm looking forward to seeing how this whole Chromecast capability goes forward. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, next up in Google News is Google is bringing group video chats, that is group video calls, to the Google Nest Hub Max devices. And so this is obviously a direct challenge to the market of Facebook Portal and other devices that allow for you to be able to bring people together. And so Google is now allowing for this to be available on their larger of their two hubs. So they have the Nest Hub, one of which I have on my desk right here, which does not have a camera on it, and so but is a display device. The Nest Hub Max has a display as well as a camera, and so now you're going to be able to have Duo and Meet group video calls on them. I'm very much looking forward to buying a Nest Hub Max now to put on my desk so that I can do that, because it'd be really nice to be able to have the display available here, maybe one in the kitchen, maybe one in the living room. Just depends upon where you want to be able to have those kinds of group discussions with family and friends. And I'm looking forward to seeing that come together.
That would be also good. Again, for the people who is looking for an affordable device for all this virtual learning, this will be a good solution if your school works in Google Meet. And the last news we have in here is Google start rolling out its new G Suite Gmail integration. So now you are going to have Gmail integration with Meet and Rooms and the chat services and everything. And especially for the people working from home, it is a great thing to have all integrated in one solution instead of needed to go to 3 or 4 applications. So I'm one for one, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, so we talked about this in episode 14. So if you want to jump back to that and see kind of the in-depth review of these parts that Google is rolling out within the Gmail interface, go check out episode 14. And I am equally looking forward to seeing the pieces come together so that you can have a more seamless experience, productivity dashboard inside of your Gmail experience if you want it. And so that closes out our headlines for this week. That takes us to our Science of Productivity segment with Matt Plummer of Zarvana. And so, Matt, take it away.
The Science of Productivity segment brings you scientific insights you can trust into how to accomplish your goals faster. In this week's segment, I want to share new research that shows winning negotiations with colleagues or clients may actually hurt your productivity. It's traditionally advised that you should negotiate as effectively as you can in order to drive the conclusion of the negotiation to a decision most favorable to you. It stands to reason, then, that effective negotiators are most productive because they achieve their goals for collaboration, or at least get the closest. However, researchers from Wharton Business School at the University of Pennsylvania found across 6 studies that negotiating can harm others' post-agreement performance, That is, the way they act and perform after the negotiation happens. People who negotiate become less motivated and productive on effortful and creative tasks than those who don't engage in negotiations. In one study conducted by the researchers Hart and Schweitzer, participants who engage in negotiations completed 30% fewer assignments accurately than those who didn't. When it came to writing essays, those who negotiated their payment beforehand wrote 28% fewer words than those who didn't negotiate. The reduction in effort and productivity occurs because negotiations leave participants doubting the status of their relationship with the other party. And this perception of relational conflict causes people to feel less motivated to do work that will benefit their counterpart in the negotiation. Importantly, this effect remains even if participants in the study obtained more favorable agreements in the negotiation. Said simply, if we argue about how much you should pay for my services, I'm going to walk away from the conversation thinking something is wrong in our relationship. And as a result, I will be less motivated to perform those services for you, even if I get my way in the negotiation. This doesn't mean that you should never negotiate with a team member or client. Just do so with caution if you need them to complete work that will benefit you after the negotiation. In some cases, it may be better to let them proceed the way that they wanted to, or to just deem certain tasks as non-negotiable, rather than to sap their motivation and productivity by debating it. When you do feel it's necessary to sink your heels in and negotiate, once an agreement has been reached, reassure the other person that from your perspective, your relationship is still strong and you value their opinion and disagreement.
That was our Science of Productivity segment with Matt Plummer from Zarvana. And with that, we are now into our new tools of the week. Augusto and I come across many personal development, time, task, project management, and productivity collaboration tools and services throughout the week. Some we use, some are just really interesting. And so in this segment, New Tools of the Week, we each bring you a tool we think you might like. And so my tool this week is going to be a tool called Narrow. And Narrow, what it does is it allows you to take pretty much any written document. That means a blog article, a, a PDF, or just text that you can email into the system, and it turns it into a podcast. So that you have this podcast feed you can add to your podcast app of choice, and then it, in essence, reads it to you, but it's reading it to you as a podcast episode. And this has really sped up my long reads digestion, my consumption of those long read articles that, I might not have time to sit down and really dive in deeply into an article that might be, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 words. But now I can just have Narrow capture it, turn it into a voice, a natural language voice that reads it to me, and then it's in my podcast app. And now, while I'm taking the dog for a walk, or if I'm doing something in the kitchen, I can now listen to that. And since I'm doing something fairly rote, I can then get involved in the article by listening to it and digesting it. And that really has allowed me to capture much more written content that I would not otherwise have captured. And so Narrow, there's a link to it in the show notes, and it's fantastic. I really, really like it. And it's very inexpensive. I think there's a free option, but I use the paid version, and it's nominal, the cost to be able to do this. And it's really, really helped me move through my read later pile that was, stuff that I had to get rid of. I just decide, what, I'm not going to read this because I don't have time. And so I just archive it. And now I'm getting through a lot more of those things. And that's been really enriching for me to actually get access to that content that I was otherwise discarding. Even though I wanted to read it, I just didn't have time for it. Now I've been able to make time through listening to it.
My tool of the week is an iOS app, and it's called Bookly. And Bookly is trying to quantify how much you're reading, what you're reading, trying to give you a reminder, hey, go and read more. And the goal of the app at the end is to make you read more, or that at least is the goal that they claim. The app is free and you can start, and they have also a pro version of that, obviously. But the book will allows you to, you know, get you, or begin using, so you can get it the daily reading, so you can start looking what are you reading, but more importantly start getting statistics on what is that, so that way you, according to them, you finish more books. So how many books you have read, what is your best day in page readings, and how many total time you have on the books and the reading, and that, and also keeping track, of the books you're reading. The last part, it's one of my favorite things. I do that with another application, Goodreads, and it's really fun to read, and with the friends that I have that read, being able to share books that way. But Bookly, it's a new way to do that, and they're trying to be and have more statistics about it. So I wanted to share that application.
And with that, those are our new tools of the week. And that takes us on to our featured story this week. Our featured story this week, I think Augusto and I are extremely excited about this, which is to announce that Telegram has released video calls on their 7th birthday. And so if you don't know what Telegram is, it's a chat app. It's actually one of the top 10 most downloaded applications in the world. And Telegram has had quite a number of, kind of a little bit of notoriety. Russia had blocked it because of its end-to-end encryption and their inability to go ahead and utilize it. But then, of course, many Russian politicians themselves started using Telegram. And so then all of a sudden, Telegram became popular in Russia. And so it's just this fantastic chat application. And I use the messaging application with friends, with all of my clients, and it's just a well featured app that can challenge WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or any of the others. It lacked video calls, and now they brought video calls to the platform. So it's an alpha version, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else they do with video. Augusto, what stood out for you regarding Telegram's video calls announcement?
I think it's really exciting. I've been using Telegram for a lot, and I really, really like it. I like the security of it, and I think having the video calls, it's going to be amazing when that gets added. Or with the group video calls, when that gets added, will be fantastic. Just the video calls right now, it worked fantastically. I work with and talk to a lot of people that is international, and not everybody has an iOS thing. So having those kind of things, it is really, really good and really, really useful.
Yeah, so the video calls are unique in the sense that they are actually end to end encrypted. And so when you make a phone call, an audio call in Telegram, you actually see 4 emoji in the top corner of your screen. And you and that person can identify that you are in an end to end encrypted environment and that no one has intervened by virtue of being able to share those 4 emoji. Over the call. The same thing applies in the video calls. And so you can see if you read those emoji to the other person and they have the same ones, you can then verify that you are in a secured encrypted call, which is just great. Some of the other features for video calls is just like any other video inside of the Telegram interface, you can actually do picture in picture. So you can actually just make your video call shrink, and then you can continue navigating around the Telegram interface, which is really nice and slick because now you can be still screen time. Face is still looking at the screen and still do things within the Telegram application and share things and so on and so forth while you're interacting with that person. It's available on Android. It's available on Android and iOS now, and so it's an alpha, but they're going to be obviously bringing it up to beta and then final version as they bring out the group video calls in the coming months and so on and so forth. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the group video calls work and how many people will be capable of being in it and how they're going to secure those group video calls. One other minor announcement that they made on their 7th birthday is more animated emoji. And so you've got some pretty funny emojis and, basic ones. And so, they've added some more animated emoji in here for people to be able to use. And so good on them. And I'm looking forward to seeing Telegram grow. And they've currently over 400 million users. And I'm sure with the addition of video calls that are end to end encrypted, we're going to see even more people come onto the platform. So with that, we have a couple of announcements for folks. And so as you know, as Augusto and I are making our way through the various news coming out of the personal productivity space, we come across items that are interesting to you, like our first item up, which is that Zarvana is doing a 40-day challenge. Matt Plummer is doing these things called willpower workouts. And so over the next 40 days, starting on today, August 24th, when you're hearing this episode, you will see them putting out daily challenges to build up willpower. And so if you check out the page that's linked in the show notes, you'll find the area where you can sign up to get the daily emails and to be notified about those. Matt is also going to be doing daily videos, as I understand it, on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. So you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and access those there. Second announcement is that Forte Labs, Thiago Forte, he is doing his 11th cohort of his very popular program called Second Brain. And so the Second Brain course is starting very soon. And so you should go ahead and check it out if that's something that you want to learn about being more productive using an external tool like Evernote or Roam Research or any of those other programs to really build out a second brain, and very interesting program. And so you can find the 11th cohort starting soon. For any of the stories that we didn't cover this week, those are all captured under the section called Extras on the episode page. So we cull together all the episodes. We can't cover them all in the same episode. We can't all cover them in one episode. And so each week we capture the rest of those articles and we put them in the show notes for you to be able to capture. Just check out the extras section there on the episode page. And with that, if we did miss something, it's possible. Let us know. Go ahead and check out the contact page on anythingbutidle.com. You can also tweet or DM us on Twitter at anythingbutidle. You can follow us on social media by finding those links on Anything But Idle. And if you can, please leave a rating or review in Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts if they give you the ability to provide a rating or review. And so thank you for helping us grow the Anything But Idle listening community. And finally, thanks for listening to Anything But Idle, the Productivity News podcast. Until next time, here's to your productive life.